Good morning. It being 10 o'clock, I'd like to call to order the executive session for HB 25-A, making appropriations for capital improvements. And at this point, I'd like to recognize Representative Jack for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move ought to pass.
Motion has been made, ought to pass. Do I have a second?
Second. Who beat me to the punch on the second? Representative Suter.
And then,
Representative Jack.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move Amendment 1455H.
Seconded.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussions, any questions on Amendment 2025-1455H? You've all had this for quite some time. If we have any questions or discussions, Mr. Shea is prepared to speak to it. Seeing no questions or discussions, I'm sorry, Representative Kaczynski.
Hi, thank you for taking my question, or statement, I guess. I'd say from the start here, I had some doubt about a lot of these asks here. A lot of them are pretty rich, and whether it's the $2.6 million range, or $350,000 backhoe, or $2.3 million for license plates, which, with a few questions, a week later, miraculously, they came back $1 million less. And I often wonder if we all asked questions and chiseled some of these down, how much money could have been deleted here or maybe moved to something that really needed it. But I was prepared to vote for this budget, but the one thing I cannot go for is the subsidies for rich businessmen, the freight rail. And I was kind of hoping maybe that could have been deleted and I'd give my vote to this, but apparently the sentiment's not there. And apparently these are some pretty influential, connected people here, so it doesn't appear that something's going to happen with that. So that is why I will vote no.
Thank you. I just want to point out that your area of concern is actually a public-private partnership in which the private side matches our funds, whatever funds we give them, 100%. It is for rail maintenance only, and the fact that their train cars keep tons and tons of transportation off of our highways, saving them is part of the reason we've entered into those public-private relationships about 10 years ago. Representative Jack?
Yeah, I could speak briefly to my
Yes.
amendment. People should be aware that we're not actually appropriating money to buy the thing. We're trying to appropriate enough money so that when the item is advertised for bid and the bids come in, that the appropriation is enough to fund the bid, not necessarily what the item might cost if you went to a tractor dealer and bought one.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
Okay,
Representative Cloutier.
with all due respect, I'm rise in full support of, as you said, the public-private partnership under the Department of Transportation for our rails. This is very important. It is very important, in my opinion, for three reasons. First of all, it protects our environment, more. It keeps a lot of reduces the number of heavy trucks who, frankly, have a lot of pollutants, for better, for worse. It helps protect our roads from the pounding that they take from the heavy trucks. And one thing I've been learning, that heavy vehicles, they just do a number after a while on a lot of our roads and bridges. And finally, they improve public safety by putting stuff on rails, and just drivers don't have to, deal as much with heavy trucks. So for those three reasons, I really support this public-private partnership, which has worked over the last several bienniums. I'm proud to support it, this bipartisan measure. Thanks.
Representative Kaczynski.
I'd like to clarify that a public-private partnership, in this case, for a $900,000 bridge, the company that owns that railroad is going to get it for half the price because we're subsidizing that. That's really what that comes down to. And as I said before, the railroad plan in New Hampshire from the DOT in 2012 says precisely in two areas that they are responsible for that. Not if they're responsible for installing the track, it says they are responsible for the costs. So why would anybody go against that plan? I don't know how that got started. And somebody will say, well, it's just a small part of the budget. But it's not, this is not good. I looked at my Republican Party platform this morning. That doesn't support these things. We're supposed to be for limited government and tight spending. So public-private partnerships, to tell you the truth, when I hear that, it doesn't smell good to me. It never did. And this is an exact example. And I'll tell you another thing, as a final note, these people are making so much money doing what they're doing. They are not going anywhere if we don't subsidize them. That is a fact. And I bet everything I got on that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Seeing no further comments, I would ask the clerk to call the roll on Amendment
1455H.
1455H.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Vice Chairman Melvin,
Yes.
Representative Fidolfi, Representative Kaczynski. The clerk votes aye. Representative Hill,
Yes.
Representative Bohm,
Yes.
Representative Brown,
Yes.
Representative Lewis,
Yes.
Representative Suter,
Aye.
Representative Cloutier,
Yes.
Representative Jack,
Yes.
Representative Edgar,
Aye.
Representative Faulkner,
Yes.
Representative Newman,
Yes.
Representative Vallone,
Yes.
Representative Juris,
Yes.
Representative Rockmore.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Chair votes yes.
Mr. Chairman, by a vote of 17 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, with nobody not voting, the amendment passes.
Thank you. Representative Melvin is recognized for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve auto pass as amended, House Bill 25A.
Seconded.
Motion has been made and seconded. Clerk will call the roll.
Vice Chairman Melvin,
Aye.
Representative Fidolfi, Representative Kaczynski. The clerk votes aye. Representative Hill,
Yes.
Representative Bohm,
Aye.
Representative Brown,
Yes.
Representative Lewis,
Yes.
Representative Suter,
Aye.
Representative Cloutier,
Yes.
Representative Jack,
Yes.
Representative Edgar,
Aye.
Representative Faulkner,
Yes.
Representative Newman,
Yes.
Representative Vallone,
Yes.
Representative Juris,
Yes.
Representative Rockmore.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, by a vote of 17 in the I'm sorry, cheapest. The chairman.
I've been waiting. The clerk always forgets at least once a year. I've done it many, many times. The chair votes yes. Chair votes yes.
I apologize, Mr. Chairman.
Welcome to being an official chair, an official clerk now.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Mr. Chairman, by a vote of 17 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, with nobody not voting, House Bill 25A passes as amended.
Thank you. I'd like to close the executive session on HB 25H. Now, this cannot go on the consent calendar, has to be talked about. Is there going to be a minority report written? Representative Kaczynski, would you care to write a minority report or not? Fine, thank you. Seeing as that takes care of our business for today, about 99%. I've got a couple of announcements. One is we've only got one Senate bill coming over, and let me just stop right there. Representative Hill, if you've got anything else you need to do, you can skedaddle.
I hate to say it, but
I hate to say I really don't have something else.
Well, then you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to stay.
Thank you. I always wanted to see how a real committee operates.
We have one Senate bill coming over that we're aware of. It's not due in back until May 29th, so we've got time to work on it. However, I'd like to give us at least a week off next week. Skip that. Normally, I'd say, I would could put this up for a vote and say, hey, we can take a couple of weeks off and delay it, but my feeling is let's get it done and out of the way so we can take a breather and we don't have to worry about anything else coming up until something else falls in our lap. If that's okay with everybody.
That works.
All right, so we will definitely take off next Tuesday. Keep your eye on the calendar. I'll schedule that whenever it's convenient, and it will be brought over. It'll be presented by Representative McConkey. I'm sorry, Senator McConkey, who we all know here in this table as Representative McConkey. If there's nothing else, I just want to thank you all for this is a rather arduous process. I know so it was new for some of you, and I thought we did a rather fantastic job. I was at a function where I happened to run into the Senate president over the weekend, and she just asked me for a briefing on what HB 25 looked like, and I told her we managed to bring it in at $10.5 million under the governor's ask. And frankly, she was stunned and said she was welcoming looking at it and didn't plan on making a lot of changes. So, Representative Cloutier.
Yes, just make everybody aware tomorrow, and I don't know if anybody's going to be here, there's going to be a luncheon. The community college system is going to put on a luncheon between 11 and 1 or 11 and 2. And I know I promised our former chair, Representative Edwin Smokey Smith, that I would mention it to all committee members if you haven't heard already. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow, you know, you're invited to come down and meet some of the students and staff of the community college system and have a free luncheon, and the students are going to put it on. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Representative Newman.
Thank you. I'll just follow up on Representative Cloutier's comments. When we did the site visit to the Lakes Region College a year ago, whatever, the culinary department, it was professionally run. The kids were excellent. The food was delicious. And I believe I read in the calendar that the committee that shows up and leaves their cards with the people tomorrow, the most cards they get from whatever committee, they will get a cake. So they will be counting cards if you show up.
Ooh, so everybody leave your cards here. Yeah.
And,
There we go.
no, just whatever. And could I just add huge thanks to Mr. Shea and the staff for cranking out papers forever and getting them to us. And on behalf of April Fool's Day, I really don't think Representative Boyd omitted you. I think it was an April Fool's thing, so.
Thank you very much. That being said, my second thank you was going to go to Mr. Shea and his staff, without whom we couldn't have. The guidance on this was simply phenomenal. And speaking from a freshman chair and a freshman clerk and a freshman vice chair, we can't thank you enough for the help you gave this committee to get through this arduous process, sir. Now I almost feel guilty because we've only been here 16 minutes, but unless anybody,
Just to
somebody
follow
does
up,
have something
thank you,
else.
Mr.
Yes,
Chairman.
Representative Jers.
From Representative Cloutier, that's at 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
At the Lakes Region
Yeah,
campus.
it's here in the
Here
cafeteria.
in
here
the
in the cap.
cafeteria.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's in the calendar too, if you want to check it, but under 11, at least 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Then I think they may have a program extra if you want to find out more at 2 p.m. But, so a few hours, want to come down for a few hours and learn more, meet the staff and students, and learn more about the community college system and their programs.
Again, aside from that, thank everybody very, very much.